Hello, YouTube. Okay, that was too long of a intro. Sorry. Anyways, I'm back with another video. And today, I want to talk about death. And how it changed me. I mean, I've never died before, but I'm just saying that I've had a few people in my life, very close people in my life, that have passed away. And I just want to talk about how it changed me. Alright. The first death I want to talk about happened in 2009. I was dating this girl, and it was getting pretty serious. And we were 4 months into our relationship, and she dies in a fatal car accident. Yeah. That was the first death that really kind of impacted me. A drunk driver had hit her, and the way I found out about it, because it was during a time where my parents were kind of evading phone calls from like creditors and stuff like that, and the family tried to contact me multiple times about her. But the way I found out about it is I, at the time, was a newspaper carrier. And I was getting a little worried because me and her were seeing each other quite a bit. And it was around the week's time where I started really kind of worried, because I was like, she hasn't called me, she hasn't sent me a message. But the way I found out about it is I happened to look in the newspaper, because we would have occasionally a few extra newspapers, and I read in the newspaper there was a fatal car accident involving a woman. I didn't think nothing of it, but then the next day they printed the name, and I was in shock. I still couldn't believe that. That was the way I found out that my girlfriend was dead. Through a newspaper article. At the time, my mom was not doing well with her health. She had had a stroke, a massive stroke, a year prior, and my mom was kind of close to the girlfriend that I'd been with, and I broke the news to her, and she broke down right away. It took me a little while, because I was still in shock. And to this day, I'm convinced the reason why my mom passed away a year later was because, not only because of her deteriorating health, but because she was heartbroken on my behalf. She ended up having another stroke, and this time it killed her. And that was in 2010, a little over a year later. So it's two deaths that really hit home for me. My mom, I was very, very close with. I was a mama's boy. And that really broke my heart too, you know, along with the girl I was with before her. So I lost two important women in my life in just over a year time. And then less than 2 years after that, after my mom passes, my dad passes away. He died of an enlarged heart. He was struggling without my mom. I mean, he had filed for bankruptcy in 2011, and then shortly after that, in early 2012, he dies. And that one was the one that impacted me the most, because I had lost both my parents within 2 years. And at the time, I was working with my dad in the paper route, and he was the one that I was living with at the time. And yeah, I pretty much had to change my life completely, because I couldn't go on working the paper route without my dad, because he was the driver. I was the one delivering the newspapers. It was more like I was helping him, but you know, and I didn't learn how to drive. That's another thing about me, is that I never learned how to drive. And I always lived with my parents. You know, I never moved out. I lived with my parents for almost 30 years. So everything changed after my dad died. I ended up having to move to a different apartment because they wanted to fix up the place, the old one. I ended up moving here to the apartment that I'm currently in. Same complex, just different apartment. But I just remember after my dad died, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I kept saying that to the cops. You know, I was like, what am I gonna do? I can't work, you know. I mean, I lost my job because my dad died. And I was living alone, so I couldn't pay rent or electricity or the utilities or anything. Luckily, with my complex, rent is a third of your income, and if you don't have any income, it's free, I guess. But I mean, I still had utilities to pay, so I didn't know what to do. So yeah. Pretty much changed my life, pretty much. You know, I was living alone for the first time ever in my whole entire life. I had never lived alone before. So I was so afraid, you know, I was like, I was going to be alone. I was afraid I was going to go insane being alone. I was going to go crazy and do something that I would have regretted. But luckily I had supportive family at the time. I mean, my sister and my brother-in-law and her kids helped me move into this apartment. So I was thankful for that. And my sister helped me, you know, get an ID and food share and everything. So I was okay with that, you know, but I was still worried. I mean, luckily, I don't want to say luckily, but at the time I had saved quite a bit of money because of the tips, the holiday tips, and this was in January of 2012 that my dad died, and I still had quite a bit of money saved, so I probably could have lived on that for a little while. Death changes things, especially if you're really close to the people that have died. You start to question your own mortality and everything. How it could always end in an instant, you know? But anyway, that was a video about death. If you like the video, like it. If you want to comment, and if you want to subscribe. I guess I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.